There's a specific moment in every person's financial journey when literally everything changes. For years, you're checking your brokerage account, looking at your savings, and feeling like you are barely moving the needle. You're working hard, but the numbers just seem stuck. And then, suddenly, you wake up one day and your money is making more money than some people earn working 40 hours a week at their actual jobs. It feels like magic, but it's not magic. It's mathematics. There are three specific net worth milestones where this transformation happens so dramatically that your wealth building shifts into absolute overdrive. And I spend an embarrassing amount of time obsessing over compound interest, market psychology, and why most people never seem to break free from living paycheck to paycheck. If you are tired of watching your savings grow at the speed of a glacier and you actually want to understand when your net worth starts working harder than you do, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. It tells the algorithm you're serious about your financial future. The illusion of linear wealth. Before we dive into these three game-changing tipping points, let me ask you something. When you think about building wealth, what actually comes to mind? Maybe you picture a guy in a tailored suit making high-frequency trades on Wall Street, or someone who inherited a massive trust fund from their great-aunt Gertrude. But here's what might surprise you. The people who build substantial generational wealth aren't necessarily the ones making the most money or taking massive risks. They're the ones who understand something that sounds almost too simple to be true. Your net worth doesn't grow in a straight line. Most people imagine wealth as a perfectly predictable linear process. They think, if I save $10,000, I'm $10,000 closer to my goal. If I save $50,000, I'm $50,000 closer. It makes perfect logical sense, right? Except it's completely backward from how money actually behaves when you invest it properly. Wealth grows like a snowball rolling down a mountain. At the top, you're packing the snow together with your bare hands. It's slow, it's freezing, and it feels like a lot of work for a tiny snowball. But as you push it down the hill, it starts grabbing more snow on its own. Eventually, it becomes an unstoppable avalanche. We live in an instant gratification culture. You can get a pizza delivered in 30 minutes, stream any movie in 3 seconds, and buy a new TV with one click. The idea of waiting decades for anything sounds barbaric to most people today. But money doesn't just sit there doing nothing when you invest it in appreciating assets like the S&P 500. It starts working for you. It earns a return. And then, here is the secret. Those returns start earning their own returns. Let's look at the real math. Let's say you invest $500 every single month. That's roughly $125 a week. It's not chump change, but for a working adult, it's often the cost of eating out a few times, buying coffees, and paying for unused subscriptions. Assuming a conservative 7% annual return, adjusted for inflation, here is where we hit our first major milestone. Milestone 1, the first $100,000, the hardest part. Charlie Munger famously said, the first $100,000 is a bitch, but you gotta do it. And mathematically, he was absolutely right. At $500 a month with a 7% return, it takes approximately 7 years and 9 months to reach your first $100,000. Nearly 8 years. That sounds like an eternity. During this phase, you are doing all the heavy lifting. Out of that $100,000, about $46,000 came directly out of your own paycheck. The remaining $54,000 is the growth. This is exactly where 90% of people give up. They look at their account in year 3 or year 4, see that it's growing slowly, and they pull the money out to buy a car or go on a luxury vacation because it's not making me rich anyway. But if you can just push through the boredom and hit that $100,000 mark, you have completed the hardest part of the entire journey. You have built the foundation. If you think $100,000 means you are only 10% of the way to becoming a millionaire, you are completely ignoring the math.
From this point forward, the timeline collapses. To go from 100,000 to 200,000, it doesn't take another 8 years. It only takes about 5 years. Your money is now working alongside you like a second full-time employee who never sleeps, never takes vacations, and never asks for a raise.
As that snowball keeps rolling, the acceleration gets crazy. By year 22, you're looking at over $600,000. And this brings us to our second massive tipping point, $650,000. Why $650K? This is where things get incredibly interesting from a lifestyle perspective. The median household income in the United States is around $78,000 a year. People trade 40 to 50 hours of their week, deal with horrible commutes, navigate toxic office politics, and stress themselves out just to earn that $78,000. But if you have $650,000 invested and the market returns an average of 8% in a given year, your portfolio just generated $52,000 in pure passive growth. Let that sink in. Your money is now generating a near full-time salary all by itself. For the average household, crossing the $650,000 mark represents a massive psychological breakthrough. The fear of financial ruin doesn't vanish entirely, but it shrinks dramatically. Losing a job becomes an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. You start breathing easier. Your relationship with risk completely changes. Want to start a business? You can afford to. Want to step down to a lower-stress job? You have the cushion to do it. You stop making decisions based on fear, and you start designing your life around your actual values. But what happens when you finally cross that magical 7-figure threshold? Welcome to Milestone 3, $1 million. Hitting $1 million, which happens around year 29 of our $500 per month example, doesn't just represent commas on a banking app. It represents a complete psychological transformation. First, you're going to feel an overwhelming sense of relief. All those years of packing your lunch, driving the reliable used Honda, and staying disciplined wasn't for nothing. You proved to yourself that the system works. You don't have to be a crypto millionaire or a tech genius. You just have to be consistent. $1 million gives you a massive psychological unlock. The doors of opportunity fly open. And here is the craziest part about the math at this level. Remember how it took 7 years and 9 months to make your first $100,000? When you have $1 million invested, an average 10% market year makes you $100,000 in a single year without you lifting a single finger. Your portfolio is now doing in 12 months what used to take you nearly 8 years of hard, grinding labor. This is what separates the wealthy from everyone else. They understand that hitting $1 million isn't the finish line, it's graduation day. To go from $1 million to $2 million, your portfolio just has to double, which historically happens every 7 to 10 years. To go from $2 million to $3 million, it only needs to grow by 50%. From $3 million to $4 million, just a 33% boost. The math gets absolutely ridiculous in your favor. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nick, what about inflation? What about market crashes? If you are consistently investing over decades, market crashes are actually your best friend. When the market tanks, your $500 a month is buying stocks on clearance. You are accumulating more shares at cheaper prices. When the market recovers, and history shows us it always does, those cheap shares explode in value.
So, there you have it. The 3 milestones that change everything. $100,000 when compound interest finally wakes up. $650,000 when your money replaces a working salary. And $1 million when you win the financial game most people don't even know they're playing. The math does not lie. It requires patience that our microwave society doesn't appreciate. But the time is going to pass anyway. You can either be 10 years older with nothing to show for it, or you can be 10 years older with a snowball that is rapidly turning into an avalanche. Start investing consistently today. Your future self is begging you to do it. If this video brought you value, Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with one friend who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep investing, stay disciplined, and let the math do the work. I'll see you in the next one.